Feasting on Fanfare. I'm Sarah. I'm not a professional cook. I am just a huge nerd who loves food, loves cooking, and loves a challenge. I will look for any flimsy premise for a new project that I can get my hands on. And for today's flimsy premise, I'm a big fan of a band, Coheed and Cambria. Maybe you are too, maybe that's why you clicked the video. If you're not familiar, Coheed and Cambria is a progressive rock band that also has an affiliated comic, The Amory Wars. One of the major icons of both the band and the comic is the Keywork. Why do I bring this up? Because over the summer, I went to my first concert ever with my partner. It was Coheed and Cambria and some other awesome bands, and I remember as they were setting up that beautiful light fixture of a Keywork, my partner said something about, give me a slice of that Keywork key lime pie. A couple songs into their set, he proposed. And I have just wanted to do a Keywork key lime pie ever since. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Thanks again to my friend Brennan, one of my wonderful taste subjects, who has given me his grandmother's recipe. Alright, so this is going to get a little complicated. Let's start with the things we can make ahead of time. First, we're going to make some white chocolate Keyworks to go on top of our single serving pies. Here, I'm using some compound chocolate. Just microwave this stuff in short 15-second bursts on about half power until smooth and melty, mixing after every burst. Or, of course, just follow the directions on the package. Now, we're going to glob the melted chocolate into a piping bag. If you haven't got one, you can always use a zip-top bag. I like to pop it into a drinking glass to hold the bag open, like so. Then we are going to make a teensy-tiny snip in the corner, and we're ready to pipe. Well, it's certainly possible to freehand the Keyworks, or whatever design you want to do. I like to use a template underneath my parchment paper. It's not technically cheating, this is actually a legitimate technique, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. Anyway, we'll just go ahead and pipe onto the parchment. If you find some of your lines are a little bit wobbly, that's fine. We're practicing, not just perfecting. This one is going to be practice. I like to make way more decorations than I intend to use. That way, not only are you getting more practice, but if one cracks, smears, or comes out wrong, I'll have plenty of extras. Once these guys are all piped, they can hang out in the fridge until we're ready to use them. Now for the pie filling itself. This is going to be a 3-part process. Let's go ahead and separate some eggs, 4 room temperature eggs to be exact. We need our whites to be completely yolk-free, otherwise our egg foam in part 2 won't set up right. Meanwhile, if your eggs are not room temperature, let both the whites and the yolks sit out for a while until they'll come up to temperature. While we're waiting for those to come up, let's go ahead and whip up some cream, specifically 1 cup of whipping cream, and we're going to just whip that up with an electric mixer until it comes to stiff peaks. Once done, that can sit in the fridge. Get used to fridging things, this will not be the last time. Okay, now for part 2. We're going to make an egg foam, like I mentioned, and I find that this can also sit in the fridge for a little while. I prefer to make it a little bit ahead so that I can concentrate on the third part on its own since it's more finicky. Anyway, clean out your mixing bowl, or grab a fresh one, and start whipping up your egg whites. Start semi-slow and crank it up slowly, and just let it run until you get soft peaks. Next, gradually add a half cup of granulated sugar, just a little at a time. And then once that's all in, let her rip until you've got another set of stiff peaks. We're not looking for a full-on meringue, but it's a similar process. Fridge that too. It'll keep. Okay, it is lime time. Key limes are clearly traditional in a key lime pie, but if they're out of season, or if you just have a surplus of other limes, you can still use this recipe to make a really good lime pie, whether or not you include the key. Key limes are smaller and usually have a different taste compared to regular limes, but you're gonna need a lot more of them if you want to have enough juice for our pie preferential predilections. We're going to start by zesting a bunch of these little guys. We don't have to get all the zest off of them, but we're going to want a nice little pile. Try to shoot for a couple teaspoons worth if you can. Then we're juicing them. Half a cup of key lime juice will do nicely. Off heat, I'm combining 1 teaspoon or 1 packet of gelatin, half a cup of sugar, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt in a small pot. We're also going to whisk together our egg yolks, lime juice, and a 1/4 cup of water together, then mix that into the pot as well. You don't have to get super frothy with this, you just want to incorporate everything nicely so that as it cooks and as you continue to stir, it'll be smooth and not clumpy. Cook this over medium heat, stirring constantly until it boils. Then take it off the heat, add the lime zest and any food coloring you want to use. I'm gonna shoot for a nice crowing green, but we'll see how this works out. The other ingredients are going to lighten the color a lot. Side note, it's not vital that you have a camera person / designated whisker while you're coloring this, but it does help. Thank you, I can take over from here. Alright, this color is looking pretty good, so let's move on. Okay, here's the part where it gets kinda tricky. We want to chill this until it gets goopy. If you chill this too long, then it will become too firm to incorporate with the whipped cream and the egg foam. So you want to keep an eye on this and not walk away too long. To that effect, I don't like chilling this in the fridge. It's too easy for it to go out of sight, out of mind, and I just don't want to take the risk that I will overshoot the chilling. So I prefer to partially submerge the pot in an ice bath and mix it up every so often, keep an eye on it. The texture we're going for is where when you scoop it up and drop it back in the pot, it leaves a little mound, but it's not hard. That's going to take a little while to get to, but I'm not going to make you wait. Let's just skip ahead. Now that we have the hard part done, it's all easy pies from here. We're going to take that glorious green goop and fold in both our whipped cream and our egg foam. Most recipes that would involve whipped cream or egg foams like these would have you add things in thirds or 1 spoonful at a time, and for most things that is indeed exactly what you need to do. But this is just a simple pie filling here. We can be a little bit less delicate and a little bit more enthusiastic about incorporating. However you're doing it, this is going to take some time, some patience, and a whole lot of folding. So get ready for arm day. Yeah, so remember when we made the green goop way too green? This is why. It can be a little bit hard to tell between different food coloring types and different food coloring shades just how much they're going to color things. When you find ones that you like best, you'll start to develop a sense over time, but these kinds of things still happen. Now, while this is no longer that brilliant emerald crowing shade, it's still a perfect shade for a key lime pie, so I'm not mad. As a matter of fact, I'm going to add just a little bit more of this green to try and find a nice middle ground. Gel food colorings like these can be really useful because it does not take a whole lot, and they really don't add a lot of extra liquid in, so you don't feel like you're jeopardizing the texture of your final product. The egg whites will get more wet, and that's okay, that's all fine. It's still going to have enough air. Once it's all folded and incorporated, we can pour it into the shells. Now I'm totally cheating here, and I'm using pre-made single portion pie shells because I don't have single serving pie plates to make my own crust. You are welcome to make your own, and that would be extra super rad, but these pre-made jobbies work just fine. Ladle or scoop your filling into whatever pie shells you happen to be using, like so, and top it off with one of those lovely little white decors we made earlier. Then just refrigerate until you're ready to serve. These are great chilled overnight and have a beautiful texture. And there we have it. Now I hope you guys enjoy these as much as I and all my party guests have, and I really recommend you try them. And if you want to try and see if it works with lemon, give it a shot. If you want to see if it works with some other sour citrus, of course, let me know how it goes. Please give me all the details. I want to hear about it. And I want to see what kind of decorations you put on your pies. So from me to you, thank you for watching, and get out there and play with your food. I'll see you next time.